CEO of Strive International, which builds awareness for dyslexia in Africa.
The fact that dyslexics have a mind that works things differently and have an issue around language, where children at age 6 are assessed to determine if they are fit, they are good enough for the school or not. They're tested when they go into secondary school. You're constantly tested. You're constantly working against a system that's waiting to say to you, you're not good enough. It bothers me that the whole education system is systematically stripping children of their self-esteem. All this comes from dyslexia. All this comes from thinking differently.
Would you suggest then that people that do not have English as their first language,
yes,
and then speak English, they have a higher percentage of dyslexia?
No, they don't, but they have a high percentage of falling through the nets. Okay. Because a child who doesn't speak, or adult who doesn't speak English as the first language, often when they make the errors that they're making when they write, people turn around and say, well, it's a language difficulty, as opposed to it's a learning difficulty. And a learning difficulty has further implications, right, they can't spell, perhaps they can't remember, perhaps they, it just goes on and on and on. Whereas a language difficulty, once the language is in place, it no longer is a difficulty. So these kind of kids often fall through the cracks. Much as there are teachers who really want to make the difference, like I did when I would sit with Maria, every 2 o'clock, the truth of the matter is very few of us know what we're doing. As a leader, you provide a platform for other leaders to thrive. That's because each one of us has some potential in there. Each one of us knows within us what's right and what's wrong, and whatever way you want to look at it. A great leader is one who serves these other leaders by laying out a platform, giving them a voice, which is what I see myself do for dyslexics, giving them a voice to actually show off their leadership skills. So it's really not about the person, it's about the people. And it's really not a choice, it's a calling.
So what's the most significant decision you have made in your career?
Going for it, however uncomfortable it is. And I'll give you an example. So the fact that we did get our recommendations into the Education Act in Kenya today is amazing. But it's very interesting that at the particular time, I had gone in for a different meeting. I was in Nairobi for a different meeting. And at the end of the day, the last day, I called up my dad and hi, how are you? And we work very closely. He's in education as well, and has been for many, many years. He's written books on curriculum, and so we work very closely. And I say, I'm here, and he says, oh, we've really missed an opportunity, Christine. I say, what is it? And he says, well, there's a national conference on the task force's work, and we've gone and had this workshop. We've written a report, and now we've missed an opportunity to present it. But I get up in the morning, I drop everything that I was supposed to be doing, and I go to the conference, where I am promptly stopped at the door. Because who are you? You're not on the list, you are not invited, and we don't know Strive International. So who are you again? And I'm able to charm these ladies at the door. I can't remember what I said, but I got in. And then the next issue then is that we have heavyweights in education in Kenya sitting right there up front. I think, right, I have this report. Nobody knows me. What do I do? And I ask for a microphone, like I'm going to ask a question. I stand up and I say, hello, my name is Christine, and I'm representing the diaspora from South Africa. And all of a sudden, that is, at the time I lived in South Africa, that is of interest, because guess what? And I think, well, and then I present what it is I want to say and what the work is. And I commit them to taking my report on the spot. I say, after he listens, oh, well done, well done. I say, so can I please come right there and give you the report now? And, like someone would propose to you in public, you can't quite say no. They didn't say no. I got it. I got up. I gave it to the minister. I gave it to the chairman of the task force. I had only 3 copies.
What has been the most significant impact you feel like you've made to your career to date?
I'll I'll give you a bit of background. So when there was a new constitution, they thought, okay, we're going to revamp a lot of things. Education was one of them, health, amongst others. And they then decided on a task force, and they came out, and the task force did some work, I think, for about a year. They produced a report. And only then did the Ministry of Education say, hello, we haven't checked with everybody how we feel about, how they feel, what they think about these suggestions that you're making. And so we very quickly jumped onto that. And once again, found my own money, set up a workshop, invited people in Kenya, got ideas, put them together in a folder. And the next question was then, how do we get them to the right people? How do we get them to the key influencers? And we did that. And we were very pleased that a lot of the recommendations in our report went into the Education Act as it sits today. And so that for me is huge.